is Crystal with Pineapple Papers, and I have another design team project for Color Rush Studio, and I am continuing to work in my December daily. So today I am actually going to make the title page for my album, and when I saw this Vicki Boutin paper, I knew that I needed to cut out this circle. Now, well, it's a half circle. Unfortunately, it's a little too big, as you can see, and I was like, okay, that's not quite going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trim off the top and bottom. So it's kind of a half circle. But I am going to add some frazzle to the edge of it, and that way it's still going to look kind of that half circle like. So I'm using one of the papers that came in my album so that I can get the size right. And I did go ahead and decide to rough this up. I don't know that that was necessarily necessary, but it kind of smooths the edges and makes it not so straight to make it a little bit more curved. So I'm going to go ahead and put down my holes so I know where I can put my embellishments. And then I am going to grab the frazzle. So you can see I have the frazzle here. It's kind of striped. It's super pretty. And I'm going to just sew it actually on the side. I will do that off screen. But my frazzle's a little like crumply, you know, and I want it very straight because I'm going to sew it. So this is how I straighten out my frazzle. And I just thought I would leave it in. So I just spray it a little bit with just a little bit of water. I don't want it sopping wet or anything like that. Just enough, and it totally straightens it out. So I know you could iron it or you could do all kinds of things, but this doesn't require me to leave my scrap room, and so this works for me. So I hope that that helps a little bit. So I also made 2005, you can see there. So I cut it out of the same paper that the half circle was. So that's the front part. And then I wanted them thicker. So I actually cut it out a total of 4 times, and I cut it out twice in black and once in white, so that you kind of see on the side it's got like a black center. It's really kind of cool. So so I cut it out 4 times, glued them together, and then I attached those. I was going to sew, I just didn't know that my sewing machine would go through that much paper. So I put them down with red tape, and that seems to hold really well. So all of that was done off screen. And then now I'm going to do a little bit of decorating. And I felt like it needed kind of a title per se, even though 2005 works really good. So I decide on this Merry Vibes. It's going to bring in some more of that pink, which I think is great, especially since my frazzle's got some pink and there's a lot of pink happening. So I know I'm going to pop that up on some foam. So I just used some fun foam, cut some pieces, put that down. And now I'm going to go through the die cuts and see what else I can find. I do feel like something needs to be under it. I'm just not sure what that something is. So you're going to see here, I am going to fuss around and play around a lot with several different items. I find this journaling spot that has the candy on it, and I like the title fitting on that. So I'm going to put that down, and then I really like this kind of flag up at the top. I think it's getting a little bit lost, but I like the idea of it, and I realize that there is one on the sticker sheet. At some point, I'm going to realize that. So that is what's going to go on top of that. So there it is. It says Holly Jolly. It really does pop off of the background paper. And then I do feel like I need a little something down on the bottom. And so I'm going to end up with these two little cute gingerbread people. So that is going to be the front side of it. Now I'm going to dive into the back side. And this is kind of a fun little thing that I made. So in Canva, I just found this, I think it was an Advent template, and I printed it out on 4x6 photo paper, and then I took my little scalpel or X-Acto knife and I cut so that you could lift them up. So I want to kind of do this as like, this is what every day is going to be. So they open up, they open down, they open left, they open right. I do know a few days. So I do write those in. I have to write very small. Some of them don't work. I was thinking of just doing a list, but I thought this was kind of a fun way to do that. So I do need to back it on a semi-neutral background so that you can see what I write. So I just went with the same paper that the 2005 is in, and that works pretty well. And I did rough up the edges a little bit with that. Now I'm going to put them on with some glue and some adhesive because it's, you know, out of the pocket, so it's going to get turned. Here's where I rough up those edges, you know, after the fact, after I glue it down. So I had to use my nails. Thank goodness I didn't get any like paper cuts or anything like that. So obviously I knew Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, my first day, I'm going to do the advent calendar. So yeah, so I at least have a few of them filled out, and I will fill them out as I go. But I thought it was just kind of a fun little way to do something. Now, I did feel like it needs a little bit of embellishing. There's not going to be a ton because obviously this picture per se takes up the majority of the real estate. So I'm going to add, I thought about some pom-pom trim. I don't think pom-pom trim is ever a bad idea. But then I was like, oh gosh, I got to put my holes in. So I got to put my holes in first, so I don't embellish over them. And as you can see, it didn't go anywhere else. So that was nice. So I was thinking maybe a candy cane because there was already a candy cane printed on the tree. But instead I'm going to go with some word stickers. So I like this one that says Merry and Bright. It brings in that gold star that I have on the top. It did kind of cut it off, so I don't know. Canva I'm not great at, so it's probably prints better in a bigger format, but I didn't realize that. So my star's a little cut off, and I thought about adding another star up there, but maybe if I find one in my stash at some point during the month while I'm still putting this together, then maybe I'll add something to it. But right now, I'm going to leave it as is. I'm going to do a little cluster in the bottom with a present and some holly, and then that Merry and Bright. And then up at the top, I'm also going to do some holly. Very Merry Vibes is my tiny word sticker there. And then also a little starburst kind of snowflake is going to go up there at the top as well. So you can see my stitching, and that doesn't bother me. And then you also see the back side of the frazzle, which I think is pretty, even though it's not as bright. I think the muted is good since the back of the paper is already kind of striped. And then you can see the tops of the numbers, but I love how this turned out. So I will have a couple of close-ups here for you. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I will also have links to Color Rush Studio so you can get your hands on these kits and make your own fun little inserts or December daily pieces. So that is going to do it for me today. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. And remember to wear your crown. And we'll see you next time. Bye.